You used to be able to read a book for an hour. You used to watch a whole movie without looking at your phone. You used to be able to stand in line at the grocery store, or wait for a bus, or sit in a waiting room and just think about nothing, about everything. And then there's now the twitch in your thumb, the phone in your hand before you even know you've reached for it. The endless stream of 15-second worlds, each one disappearing the moment the next one arrives. What if that's not just a bad habit? What if it's the sound of your brain being physically rewritten, one swipe at a time? Let's start with a slot machine. A gambler pulls a lever. Sometimes they win. Sometimes they lose. The important part is, they never know which pull will be the one that pays out. That unpredictability is what makes it so addictive. Psychologists call it a variable reward schedule, and it's the single most powerful tool for shaping behavior ever discovered. Every time you refresh your feed, you are pulling that same lever. The next video could be boring. It could be funny. It could be the most amazing thing you've ever seen. You don't know, so you swipe again, and again, and again. Deep inside your brain, there's a circuit called the mesolimbic pathway. It's the highway of desire. When you experience something rewarding, a good meal, a hug, a genuine accomplishment, this pathway lights up with a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure. It's about motivation. It's the chemical that tells your brain, that was good. Do it again. And every single time you swipe to a new interesting video, you get a tiny targeted hit of it. Not a slow burn release like you get from finishing a chapter in a book or watching the plot of a movie unfold. This is different. This is a microdose delivered instantly, over and over. Researchers at a university in China put people in an fMRI machine and had them watch personalized short-form videos. They saw the nucleus accumbens, the brain's reward hub, light up like a firework. But they also saw something else. They saw activity decrease in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for focus, impulse control, and long-term decision-making. In other words, the part of your brain that wants instant gratification was getting stronger, while the part that helps you stay on task and think about the future was getting weaker. Your brain was learning a new pattern. It was learning that the fastest way to feel good is to abandon whatever you're doing and seek the next tiny hit of novelty. Sounds familiar, right? Then there's the cognitive cost. Your brain is not a computer. You can't just close one program and open another without any friction. Every time you switch your attention from a work email to a video, then back to the email, you pay a price. Scientists call it context switching. It depletes your mental resources, leaving you feeling scattered and drained, even if you haven't done any real work. A 2017 study found that the mere presence of your smartphone on your desk, even if it's turned off, is enough to reduce your available cognitive capacity. Your brain is using a little bit of its processing power to actively not pick up the phone. Now imagine what happens when you spend hours a day, not just resisting the phone, but actively engaging with an app designed to make you switch context every 15 seconds. You're not just watching videos. You're training your brain to be distractible. But here's where it gets complicated. Because the story we tell ourselves about this, the story that tech companies definitely want us to believe, is that this is nothing new. Every generation has its moral panic. Plato worried that writing would destroy our ability to remember things. In the 15th century, the printing press was seen as a source of information overload and mental corruption. Novels were going to make women emotionally unstable. Radio would rot our brains. TV would turn our children into zombies. Video games would make us violent. And now, it's short-form video. It's always something. The argument is that we always adapt. And honestly, there's a lot of truth to that. Our brains are incredibly plastic. They are designed to change and rewire themselves based on our experiences. Maybe a brain adapted for rapid information processing and quick context switching isn't a broken brain. Maybe it's a brain that's evolving for the world it actually lives in now. A world that moves faster. A world with more information than ever before. This new media has democratized creativity, given a voice to millions of people, and allowed for the incredibly rapid spread of ideas, movements, and news. It's not all just dances and memes. It's citizen journalism from war zones. It's physicists explaining complex theories in 60 seconds. It's people finding a community they never could have found in their hometown. It's the new shape of culture. So, our brains are just adapting to the new environment. That settles it, right? Well, not quite. Because there's one thing that makes this different from the printing press, the radio, or even television. With a book, you make one decision to start reading. Then you surrender to the author's world, for pages, for chapters. With a movie, you commit for 2 hours. The director is in charge of the pacing. You are a passenger. But with an endless scrolling feed, you are not a passenger. You are the pilot, and you are making a decision every few seconds. Swipe or stay. Like or ignore. Is this stimulating enough? Is the next one better? This isn't passive consumption. It's a relentless, rapid-fire loop of micro-judgments. And what that trains your brain to do, more than anything else, is to constantly seek an exit. It trains you to bail at the first hint of boredom. To never stick with anything that doesn't provide an immediate payoff. A book, a movie, a difficult conversation. All of them demand that you wait, that you push through the slow parts to get to the rewarding parts. This doesn't. And here's what that's costing us. There's a state of mind that neuroscientists call the default mode network. It's what turns on when you're not focused on any particular task. When you're daydreaming, letting your mind wander, thinking about your past or planning your future. This is where creativity comes from. It's where you consolidate memories, where you process your emotions, where you develop your sense of self. It is, in a very real sense, the part of your brain where you figure out who you are. And it only works when you're bored. But we have now created a world where you never have to be bored again. The moment you feel that quiet space opening up, you can fill it with a swipe of your thumb. We are systematically starving the part of our brain that makes us us. Gloria Mark, a professor at the University of California, Irvine, has been studying our attention spans for decades. In 2004, she found the average attention span on a single screen was 150 seconds. By 2012, it was 75 seconds. By 2023, it had dropped to just 47 seconds. We are losing our ability to maintain sustained focus on any one thing. We are conditioning ourselves to exist in a state of continuous partial attention, flitting from one stimulus to the next without ever going deep. Think about what that means. It means losing the ability to solve hard problems, which require long periods of uninterrupted thought. It means losing the ability to have deep relationships, which require the patience to listen and the focus to be truly present with another person. It means losing the ability to read great literature, to appreciate complex art, to follow a nuanced argument. These things aren't just entertainment. They are the building blocks of wisdom. They are how we learn to see the world from other perspectives. They are how we grow. We didn't just invent a new kind of app. We invented a new way of experiencing time itself. A present that is constantly fragmenting into smaller and smaller pieces, each one disconnected from the last. You can scroll for an hour and retain almost nothing of what you saw, because nothing was ever given the time to stick. It's a river of information that you dip your hand into, but you can never hold any of it. That feeling you have that you can't focus the way you used to. That your brain feels noisy and cluttered. That you're always feeling restless, like you should be doing something else, even when you're supposed to be relaxing. That's not a personal failure. That is the predictable neurological consequence of a new kind of environment. An environment that is perfectly engineered to capture and monetize your attention by breaking it into a million tiny pieces. You began with the ability to sit in silence, to watch a sunset, to read a story and get lost in it for hours. Your brain was built for depth. It was built for contemplation. It was built to construct a coherent narrative of your own life. And now it's being rewired by a machine that was built for the opposite. A machine that thrives on interruption, that feeds on distraction, and that profits from a state of perpetual restlessness. The cost isn't just your attention. It's the quiet space where your own thoughts were supposed to live. You're not just scrolling through videos. You're scrolling past the person you might have become in the silence.